All right. So some of you right now might be thinking, well, I didn't really get the best grades that I wanted to get, or the grades that you're saying that I need to get to be able to go to a four-year college. So now I can never go to college, or I can never get into any college. And that is a myth. So like we mentioned before, everyone takes different paths in college, right? Some of you are going to end up going to a four-year college. Some of you might end up going to a community college and then transferring to a four-year college. Um, there are still private schools out there that don't require all day through G classes, so that might be an option for you. And also remember that community college is always an option, and it's not a lesser option. I went to community college and I had a great time.
It was awesome. That I always tell students that if I could do one thing differently in my college journey, I would have listened to my mom and started at community college. There are so many benefits to starting at community college, especially like if you're not 100% sure what you want to do yet, or if you're just trying to save money or want to be closer to home. All of the community colleges in our area are really exceptional campuses. They're actually both SRJC and College of Marin are ranked in the top 10 in the state of California, and we have over 120 community colleges. So we're very, very lucky to have these amazing campuses right in our backyard. Also, fun fact, if you're in high school, you can start taking classes for free at the JC or at College of Marin if you just want to get a taste for what it's like, and kind of see what it feels like to be at the community college.
Mhm.
Alrighty, so we're going to shift into talking about the ACT and the SAT. We actually have a whole presentation for you over the summer about some of the sort of craziness behind these tests. Unfortunately, these tests are still required as part of the college entrance. It's just part of the college entrance process. Most schools require these tests. Not all. There are definitely some schools that are test optional. But for the most part, if you're applying straight to a four-year, you do need to have taken either the ACT or the SAT. A lot of students will ask, like, well, what's the difference? Do I have to take both? One thing that I recommend for students is that in the spring of your junior year, so right about now, that if you have a fee waiver, that you sign up to take one ACT and one SAT. And then once you get your scores back, you can kind of see how you did and how you felt about each test. And then whichever test you felt better about, you can take one more in the fall and see if your score changes at all. Most of you will be eligible to receive fee waivers, and if not, we can actually give them to you from 10,000 Degrees, at least for the SAT. So if you have any questions about paying for the test or any of that, you don't have to worry about it. The one thing that we are kind of keeping an eye on right now is, are these tests going to be rescheduled, or what's that going to look like for this next year? So as we get more information, we will definitely share that with you all. And then lastly, a lot of students ask, like, how do I prepare for these tests? One easy and free way to prepare is just to utilize Khan Academy. Some of you probably have used Khan Academy already for academic support, but they actually partnered with SAT and they have a whole test prep program on Khan Academy where they take actual questions from the test, and you get to just kind of see what the question, how they're worded, what the different options are for answering, things like that. So that's a really good way to get some practice in, especially if you're a little bit nervous about what to expect. Oops. Last bubble. Is it stressful? Yes. So taking these tests is not, well, maybe it's an enjoyable experience for you. I was not a huge fan of taking these tests. I felt like all of my friends were taking the test and doing better than I was, and I didn't really feel prepared. But honestly, these tests do not represent your knowledge or your capability at all. There's a whole history behind these tests that's pretty complex that we'll share with you over the summer. But just know that all you have to think about these tests is you have to take them in order to be eligible to apply, and that's it. You don't have to get a minimum, like there's no minimum score. You don't have to get, there's there's no like minimum requirements. You just have to do it. That's all you have to worry about. Where are you, GLaDOS? Hello?
So some of you might be thinking right now that you need to know exactly what it is that you want to study to be able to go to college. So you might have heard that from people around you that that is a requirement before you go to college. But we're here to tell you that that is also a myth. Most people that go into college, they're starting their freshman year, go into it thinking that they want to do one thing and end up doing something either completely different, slightly different. Some people go into it not knowing what they want to do because part of being in college is about exploring your options. So, like Gracie was mentioning earlier, some students choose to go to community college because they aren't sure what path they want to take just yet, and they feel like that's the best option for them to explore. But you also have the chance to explore majors if you go to a four-year college, because the first 2 years is about taking the general coursework, and you don't actually get to choose your major until your junior year.
Yeah. One thing too that I want to highlight is I think a lot of students feel like stress or pressure to know at least what they're interested or what they want to do. And we just want to highlight that again, that's not the case. If you do what you know what you want to do, that's awesome. That's good for you. But if you're not sure, that's okay. And that's really, really normal. It was really interesting. Actually, a couple weeks ago, I was at San Rafael High School and we were listening to a presentation by some various adults in the community. And one of the questions was, what did you go to school for? And what do you do now? And there were, I mean, the answers really ranged, but there was one woman who had gone to school for fashion design, and then now she's currently working in wealth management. Or there was, somebody who went to school to study politics and wound up becoming like an architect and doing all this kind of different stuff. So it is super, super normal for people to change careers, to change what they're interested in. So really what you're looking to do in college is establish a baseline. And there are a lot of skills that you're going to learn regardless of what you decide to study that you can apply to a lot of different careers.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Just a reminder that college is about exploring, like GLaDOS said. You want to take different classes. You want to do things that are interesting to you. Sometimes we recognize that students feel like I have to, do a certain major or be a certain career because I need to make money and I need to be able to support my family. Those are all very, very valid. But we also want to make sure that you're choosing something to study that you care about, that you're passionate about, and that you're interested in learning about.